Hello and welcome back to Shelf Center. This is Bryce. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks for liking and subscribing. If this is something you end up enjoying, you never know, it could happen. Anyway, thanks so much for being here. There have been so many new subscribers in the last little bit. Thanks to the old subscribers. Thanks to everyone who stops by and anyway, just interacts. I've just loved the time to get to know people. It's been an awesome time just getting to know the people in the community, people who love the things that I love. So this was my chance. I wanted to do a video where I talked about 2023, how'd it go. I have a couple different segments of this. The first thing I wanted to talk about is how'd I do with my goals. Spoiler alert, it was bad. I'm a mood reader. That was on me. Should have known that. But anyway, how did the books go? How did the book reading go? Then a bit of a channel update and kind of how did the year go? How's the channel? What's the health of the channel so far? And then goals for the channel kind of moving forward. What do I want to see? What do I want to do? What am I trying to do here? Anyway, lots of different thoughts there. I will have timestamps down below in the description, so if there's any of this navel gazing that you don't want, which may be all of it, feel free to jump ahead, of course, as always. Anyway, wanted to get into the books themselves. How did I do? And like I said, it was bad. So I had a goal of reading 44 books that I actually put onto a TBR. Now, the problem with that goal that I realized, I'm getting more mature as a booktuber, and I'm learning that this is a terrible mistake for someone who is also a confessed mood reader. And so when 44 of your books in the year are scripted books that you want to read and you get to maybe about, well, what I got to was 56 total in the year, that's going to be a problem because that's the vast majority and leaves very little time for mood reading, and that was my problem. But anyway, so of the 44, I did complete 19, which if your math is any good, you know that that's less than half. That means I did not read 26. Now, in my defense, 6 of those were Malazan books for the Malazan reread that I was doing that, as I've learned Malazan rereads do, or Malazan reads in general, read-alongs in general, failed by about book 4. So that was rough. But anyway, those kind of immediately, I put them back on the slow track. I was kind of trying to follow Mike's book reviews, kind of progress through the Malazan series and kind of trying to read with him. But I am a couple books behind now, even that. So I do still need to maybe jump ahead here and read Reaper's Gale and then Toll of the Hounds. Throwing off all my numbers for sure. But anyway, I didn't put them on any kind of list for this next year, 2024, but that did at least 6 books you could take out of that. So really, it's more like 19 not read. But then we go with the other failed read-along, the Stormlight Archive, which what I did was we were reading pretty much monthly Stormlight Archive books until it almost immediately fell apart with that group, which is sad, but it happens. So I still have, I decided to just go on an even slower route to finishing the Stormlight Archive so I can kind of line myself up with finishing by December of 2024 of this year, when the 5th book will be released, which we all know Sanderson's pretty dang good about that. So, and it is finished. The book itself is finished. It just needs to go through the very long process of rewrites and everything. So really, if we take 2 more off of that, we're down to me having read a little more than halfway of my TBR from last year, which is still terrible. So still no excuses there. It's still pretty bad. But there are a number. I did put, for some reason, on that TBR all of the secret projects. I did not read any of them. I was pulled every which way to do buddy reads and read-alongs and whatnot, which are so much fun, and I kind of just prefer to keep myself a little more open to that, which again, why my TBR for this year, I just pared way back down to like in the 20s instead of, so not even half of my reads for the year. Again, I found as a mood reader, you still have to commit yourself and still have to have some kind of goals and plans for reading, because of the fact that otherwise I will leave series unfinished and in limbo for far too long. Then I've got to reread everything, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but I have so many books to read for the first time that I really shouldn't bog myself down with rereading. But as far as I just kind of want to highlight, there's a couple cool things that happened this year because of that reading and because of me getting a little sidetracked. Liza Locke-Lamore really wasn't on my list at all, wasn't even on my plans, but then Matt of Matt's book reviews did a read along. I was like, I'll reread Lies of Locke Lamora, and then because of that, I ended up interacting with Murphy Napier, and then going on her channel to talk Lies of Locke Lamora, and then Red Seas Under Red Skies, and then eventually will be Republic of Thieves, and then hopefully more as they come out by the author, and then which also led to actually interacting with the author himself on Twitter, which is just so cool. Anyway, made my day. Even though I feel bad because I'm like, I don't want to give him like my stupid take on something that I'm like, this book is like one of the best books ever. Red Seas Under Red Skies it was. I loved it so much, and you still can nitpick the best books of all time. I love The Lord of the Rings, and you can still nitpick it quite a bit. And anyway, I feel bad that one of the points of his response was about a nitpick, and I'm like, ugh. Anyway, it's one of the things, I'd rather be honest. I want to be honest about things. Prefer honesty. That's the thing. The channel is for readers, not for authors. Anyway, and I'm going to stick with that. But that was one of those that it was a cool interaction, but at the same time, I feel bad. All right, then I did actually finish, because one of my goals has been to finish some of these series so that I can add more series to my plate, which I keep doing anyway. I did finish 4 series this year, so that's actually a pretty healthy amount for me. But anyway, I did finish Cradle series. That was a big one. 12-book series. That's pretty awesome. Greenbone Saga, the trilogy, and then the Thrawn trilogy. I finally read the final book in that trilogy. It was awesome. Star Wars, great stuff. Good old Thrawn. And then Reckoners I finished. So that was Brandon Sanderson's kind of YA superhero books. So very happy with that. I wanted to make a focus of finishing books for my end of the year kind of discussion here. I did finish some series. I want to keep doing that. Channel update. I just thought this was really cool, and I actually created myself a little graph here. I think it's kind of fun, and I'll show it here. But I wanted to compare, and I like comparing to previous years. And so if you look at this, I've compared all the way back to 2021 when the channel started. I did start halfway through the year, but it being a starting of a channel, it started slowly, as one does. And I remember even joking from day one almost about just how you start YouTube and you're like, all right, where are my millions of adoring fans? Where's the millions of views? It doesn't just happen that way, especially, as I've mentioned recently, in the book community, where it is kind of a niche thing when you're in a society that, I don't know, I feel like frowns upon book reading to some degree, which is kind of crazy. It encourages it in one area, but also is like, anyway, there's this like, I don't know, general like people don't read anymore, they watch stuff. So anyway, in this kind of niche part of the internet and of YouTube, I've been pretty impressed with the growth here. 2021, we had 13,578 views. And then jumping up into 2022, it went all the way up to 90,528. Now, in my defense, we're comparing a half a year to a full year, but even if you double the 13,000, you're still nowhere even close to the 90,000. I think that's pretty cool. Almost hit 100,000 at that point, and then this year hit 154,547. So that's pretty cool. Quite the jump, almost doubled there from the last year, but great momentum. I love seeing it. Already hit the 250,000 view mark for the channel. It's actually up to 264,000 last I checked, and it keeps going up, and it's just amazing. And if you care about this, YouTube seems to be the only one that cares about this, but if you care about this, watch time has also gone from almost 1,000, just under 1,000 in 2021 to 4,900 in 2022. That's when I finally got monetized for the channel. And then in 2023, almost double, 7,169. So we're already starting pretty well. And then I thought this was interesting too. Subscribers in 2021, we had 562. And then in 2022, we had 1,000. And then in 2023 is 1,294. So we're heading again in that good direction up. I love it. In November and December of just 2023, just barely, the last couple months, We hit almost 500 subs, which is what I had in that first year. So that's pretty cool, pretty crazy. Again, first 6 months really. Again, still heading in that good right direction, and it's just been a blast to see. Last year when I started learning about shorts a little better and started playing around with shorts, YouTube shorts, not my pants versus shorts, around about August, I kind of started doing that mispronouncing fantasy names. And you started seeing that really affect the view count pretty well, almost doubling the view in some point, or the views at some point, and at least getting a healthy amount of extra views on the channel, which is kind of fun for me. All right, that's all I'll bore you with the channel update. That was pretty cool, pretty fun. Goals. Let's talk goals for the channel. So I always trying to get better, always trying to learn from those other channels that I watch, which are so many, from friends that I watch, from people that have done it successfully, but also people that have just done it in a way that I like, that either works for me or whatever. What's funny having done YouTube, I feel like the videos that I create that are the most creative, the most that I just like put the most into, almost do the worst. It's the ones that people are used to and that know, and of course you add a top 10 list or something, then you're gonna get tons of views. But I've found it's the ones that I really try hardest, but I like that. I like that creative process. Again, I'm mostly being creative based on other people that have been creative, and that's the thing. So I get that and I acknowledge that. So one of the big things I wanted to do better on the channel, because I just don't get enough of these out. I don't know, they stress me out or something. I want to do well by these books, but what I don't do enough of is top 10 lists. Just kidding. Is reviews. I want to do more reviews on the channel. So I thought of something. I do reviews, I do news. We've got a day in the week called Tuesday. I wanted to either do Tuesday Reviews Day, Tuesday News Day, and maybe try to switch them off. Try to be a little more consistent, a little better. One of the things I've found, and I keep telling people, is be consistent. The channel's still small, of course, but one of the things that's even kept this steady growth is at least staying somewhat consistent on a weekly basis for videos, even though I'm not always, that's what I want to get better at, is just even more consistency with actually having videos out on the days that I'm trying to get them out on, which are usually Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Sometimes I'll throw shorts in when I can get them in. But I want to do more reviews on the channel. So Tuesday Reviews Day and Tuesday News Day. My kind of perfect plan would be to do this like every other week and keep it that way, like alternating weeks. So each Tuesday you're going to have either news or a review. But we'll see. I'm gonna try. I want to try. With that, I want to have a little more organization. Try to come up with themes and kind of just get things a little more cohesive. Part of that is I've been working with someone to get a logo on the channel to make us look a little more professional. The problem is my editing probably won't ever look up to any actual professionalism, but maybe even commission some kind of an intro, a very short intro, because that's all I want to do, is just a very short, like couple second maximum intro, just to be like, here's the channel you're on, do a little branding. What I've seen so far, I actually really love, and I wish I could share it, but anyway, I want to show somewhere, and I want to keep moving in that direction. Speaking of reviews, and I've struggled with reviews, and I've talked about this before, actually, like probably about a year or two ago at this point, was just to try to make reviews easier for me to get out. So my original kind of plan was just do shorter reviews, and then I can get more reviews out, and then just talk more on the Discord channel, which I do have, so check the link below. So we can get into details on actually discussing the book in the Discord, but it didn't really happen that way as well as I wanted it to, or at all, because I'm terrible at the Discord. But I wanted just a little more, maybe just to make it easier to do reviews. So my new review plan, kind of just to keep things focused, and so I know each time, hit these notes and then I'm good. All right, hit the notes. Certain things I think people care about, but to just hit the notes and move on. The first thing, I want to talk about cover. I love just talking about covers. I love art. I love it. So that's one thing. I love that Brian Lee Durfee does it. That's the one that really makes me go, yeah, it's a vital part of the book. They're forever linked, right? So then number two, give a short summary. We're talking under a minute long. I want this to be short summary, get right to the point, not get into spoilers. In fact, they're not spoilers unless I want to add spoilers. So then they're going to be not spoiler, and you're going to be warned that there's going to be spoilers. Number 3, a good quote. Something to just show you what the writing's like, what it's about. A good quote that I can just read terribly for you, or dramatically, or in a funny way, or whatever. But a good quote that just shows what I'm talking about, part of the book. Number 4, what I liked and what I disliked. Here's what I liked. Here's the thing. Here's what I disliked. Boom. Hit the notes. Get the, 1, 2, 3 liked this. 1, 2, 3 disliked this. Number 4, if you liked this book, here's another book that you might like. Or just what is the book comparable to? And then finally, number 5, a rating. I like giving ratings. They mean as much as they mean. You give it the weight that you think it should have. But I do like to do a full out of 10 rating. I don't like getting into the minutia of the points and whatever, 9.5, 3.762. You're just going to get either a solid number, 1 through 10. That's it. If it's at least a 2, it means it was good enough to finish. So at least I try to kind of go with that. If it's a 1, I just didn't finish it, right? Didn't finish it, no redeeming qualities for me, didn't like it. If it's a 2, maybe there's some redeeming quality, but I still didn't like it, still did not finish it. If it's a 3+, I at least finished it. There was something that was there in it to finish and a reason for that. We're getting into the kind of middle numbers. Middle numbers is what I go into, like somewhere around a 5 or 6, is what I go into the book thinking, you can do better than this or you can do worse, but I'm going in going, I'm right in the middle, all right? And so that's where if it just stays at those expectations, then that's what you're gonna get. If it was just kind of like, didn't really impress me, but didn't really disappoint me, there you go. But it's gonna be all over the place, because that's not gonna be a good definition for every single book. But that's kind of how I go in. You can go up from here and you can go down from here. From there, we're talking, if it's a 10, this is talking life-changing, one of the best books ever. I read my eyes out, or just for what it was trying to do, it completed it perfectly, or it completed it near perfectly in a way that I loved it, and maybe wasn't life-changing, and just was such a good read that I am craving more. Or want to reread it. So there's all kinds of levels of books in between there. But anyway, that's where I'm sticking with my book reviews. That's what I want to keep doing. For more goals, I wanted to do more collabs, more talking with other booktubers, either on their channel, my channel. I would like to eventually do kind of more of a weekly or other bi-weekly kind of a live stream type thing. I really like live streams. They make it really fun to just chat, shoot the breeze, not worry so much about what I need to do with the editing or whatever, and just be able to have a good connection with somebody over something that we both love. And maybe more author interviews with that. I would love to do that more. Would be great. The problem is just finding that time to ever do it. And I'm the problem. It's not usually anyone else. And maybe I've just been thinking about this, maybe less buddy reads, because I have committed myself way too much. And again, they're taking over to a level where it's like, it's almost too much. It's almost like, the mood reader part of me is dying for something to get out of the regular thing. But again, this is what's gotten me to, for instance, actually finishing and almost getting close to completing, like The Witcher, for instance. Even though I'm slacking completely on that, and the Joes probably hate me by now. But anyway, those are my goals. I feel like the channel's doing pretty well, pretty healthy right now. I'm pretty happy with it. I cannot believe the friends that I've made through this, just with whether it's booktubers or commenters or whoever. I've just made a lot of friends, just connecting over something we both love. I love it. It's been such a blast. Thank you so much for being part of it. Thanks for recommend me a book. I'm constantly going, hey, well, what do you recommend? Even the people that are very much naysaying, like I just got a comment the other day on a Malazan thing going, I don't like postmodernism. That's not going to sell me on it when you say that. And I'm going, well, what do you recommend? Like, what's your thing? What do you like? I want to know. I want to know what's, what maybe is a different recommendation than my typical one that I'm going to get. So anyway, I appreciate that. I'm happy to. It's been a blast. Thank you so much for being part of it. And again, welcome to all the new people. Thanks again to all the old subscribers. And I love you to death. Thanks so much. We'll see you later. Bye.